Hey everyone, Adam here. Before we start the show, just a warning that at about the 40-minute mark, once we get to the third story, the conversation does take a little bit of an adult detour. So if you have kids in the car, you might not want them to listen to that part of the program. That being said, enjoy the show.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your shocking X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Zach, and Adam, guess what we're back with?
Well, it is episode 299, so it's appropriate that we are back to
X-Men 2099. We're doing 2099 again, folks.
Right. And not
this
just
is a
any
2099 podcast now.
Like tons of 2099s. We have 3 different 2099s for you this week.
It's a crisis on infinite 2099s.
We were just trying to figure out which 2099s we were talking about, and there are quite a few.
So, Adam, I was thinking about this earlier this week. We've got a lot of 2099s involved.
Yep.
There's, in fact, a current 2099.
There is.
There is a 2099 that Nick Spencer did that was bad.
Yep.
And didn't involve the X-Men. Bendis had 2 different versions of the 2099 in some good X-Men annuals that we're not covering today. There was a Marvel Knights 2099. Again, no X-Men.
So
I think there was a 2099 in Humans.
Okay. You know,
this was right. Yeah, it was. And it came out in 2004. You remember, oh, that's a Robert Kirkman comic. That's funny.
Okay.
That's funny. You remember when, oh my gosh, the cover to this, it's just the Inhumans. That's weird.
Well,
that's the Inhumans cover.
Space gods. They might as well just have still lived, I guess.
I'm not reading Inhumans 2099 a one shot.
Nope.
But it was during the moment where people thought the Inhumans were good. Not when Marvel was pushing them, but when that Marvel Knights book came out.
Oh, yeah.
I remember really enjoying when I read it, and I have not read it since. It's got Jay Lee art, though.
It did have the Jay Lee art, and what was that? Paul Jenkins, I think, was
it. It was Paul Jenkins writing it.
Yeah. Yep.
But then, of course, we have the normal 2099, which ended as the worst comic.
Yes.
There's many a 2099.
That was Earth 928. And folks, we will get back to Earth 928 in this episode for a strong finish. But we are going to start with Earth 96099. Did I say that right? No, that's not right.
The Earth numbering system.
Yes, I did. 96099. I got it.
Here's the problem with the Earth numbering system. It's the most pedantic thing in the world and does not matter at all, ever, in the history of ever. It has never mattered what reality number. It is purely for nerds to organize the Wikipedia pages.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And, and for podcasters like us, who I guess need to distinguish between
we don't need to distinguish them. We can just say this one's a different one.
Well, and that is really the bottom line, is that the 2099s we're going to talk about in our first 2 stories are not Earth 928, the original 2099 that we've been talking about.
The one we love.
Yes, until the end, which we absolutely despised.
They shouldn't have fired Joey. That's all it is.
That's all it is. So, where are we starting this week, and who requested it, Zach?
Oh, that's a great question. I should look that up and find it right now, because people request things on this podcast. No one requested it, Adam. Which, you know what? It's been 299 episodes. This one's for us.
Wow. So wait, this was our decision just to do a 2099 episode, and we chose Timestorm to start with?
You say we, like...
I know I didn't have anything to do with this choice.
This is behind the curtain for our listeners. I do not want to say that Adam does not choose the stories, but I am the one with a very easy to find link right on my desktop at all times to the list that I can modify when something tickles my fancy.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought it would be nice to look at other X-Men 2099s.
Mm-hmm.
So, Adam, this is Timestorm 2099 slash, or I'm sorry, this is Timestorm 2009 to 2099 colon X-Men one shot volume 1 number 1.
Yes.
It's written by Brian Reed with pencils by Fraser Irving.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, you read the bulk of the Timestorm event. Would you like to give our listeners context for what's going on between 2009 and 2099?
By read, I'm going to say skimmed, because
You got to see the weird cerebra.
Yes. So there is an Alchemax, just like there is in regular, original flavor.
The company that Liz Allen merged with, what's she merged with? Something with Allen Chemicals merged with Alchemax. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
They made an Alchemax.
So the person running this Alchemax is Tyler Stone, and Tyler Stone is trying to mess around with the timeline along with like some kind of AI creation named Lila. And this also involves
these are all 2099 Spider-Man things.
Right. And but they're this universe's versions of them. And because of their kind of like meddling, and also confusingly the powers of this universe's version of Cerebra, who doesn't have hair so much as she has brains leaking out of her skull into hair, which is really gross. They mess up the timeline so that characters from the past then jump to the future. But it's really just because a Punisher 2099 has been sent to the past to shoot Peter Parker and Logan, who then get transported to the future to go on very bland adventures. And
so here's the thing.
None of this matters.
Can we take one moment here and pause and consider Punisher 2099?
Sure. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know Jake Gallows, right?
He's a Thorite, if I believe, if I got that right. Yes. At least here.
He might be here.
In Timestorm.
The beauty about Jake Gallows is that he's the best character to ever exist. Do you know how old he is?
How old is he, Zach?
He's 36.
Oh.
Caliber. Do you know where he lives?
Where does he live, Zach?
He lives on the edge.
Oh, boy. Oh, my.
Do you know what today's date is?
Time to die?
It's Punishment Day.
Okay.
Do you know how he flies?
Doesn't he have like a skull cycle like Ghost Rider kind of?
No, he don't need a jetpack. All he needs is hate. I love Punisher 99 so much. In concept, I don't want to read his comics. But Punisher 2099 is very much from the beginning them being like, okay, but what if Punisher was really just a horrible person and we like did not let him even be a little bit heroic?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Unfortunately, Punisher 2099, even though he does blast Wolverine into the future, is not actually in the comic book we're talking about, Timestorm 2009-2099 X-Men, which takes place after Wolverine has been delivered to this very empty, brown, deserted 2099, illustrated in part by one of our favorites, Fraser Irving.
Love Fraser Irving. I don't know what he's doing here, but I love it. This is some rough Fraser Irving. Like, he's not there yet. And I think part of it might be his coloring on this. Part of it is his coloring, but I think part of it's the line work's a little thicker. I don't know. It's not what I want it to be.
I think it's great. I just think that what he's drawing is kind of boring. Wolverine is basically just like slapped into, earth tones here. And he's immediately greeted by who I thought was 10 Iron Eagle, because when you go to 2099 and you meet a bald, one-armed man, you might assume that that's who that is, but it's not. It's just another Wolverine. Actually, it's the Wolverine.
2099. Hey, you remember how in X-Men 2099, one of the things we liked is that there wasn't just filled with, hey, here's this version of 2099 character you like. It was, let's take that and make this interesting legacy version and explore the idea of what X-Men is through these characters.
Yes, we're going to see a little less of that today.
We just have an Old Man Logan here.
Yes.
This is your standard issue Old Man Logan.
Mm-hmm. We do get all right, so Logan is taken in by one-armed old Logan into like a secret base. They do meet a junk pile, so there is a junk pile here for junk pile fans. They do
meet a junk pile who looks like an Iron Man.
Yep.
Which I get and I can appreciate, and I'm like, but that's not junk pile.
And we are introduced to this universe's X-Men 2099, which does have a mean streak.
Has a mean streak, has a crystalline.
And a female Bloodhawk.
Lady Bloodhawk, let's go.
Yeah.
Listen, we haven't had nice things to say about Bloodhawk in the entire time we've done 2099. He's a flop. So yeah, Lady Bloodhawk, let's do it.
This 2099 is characterized mainly by an infestation of Hulks, which is not unlike what you might have seen in Old Man Logan, except these are the 2099 Hulks.
There is a weird amount of Old Man Logan in this, and I don't get it. Because it's not even as fun as Old Man Logan can be
there's
at times.
No fun here whatsoever.
It's not what I want for my friends in the 2099.
No, I want bright neon colors, not drab browns, and the X-Men 29 team, plus Ghost Rider 2099, which, okay, that's fun. Just killing Hulks for most of the issue. We could do better.
We can do better, and that's the problem, is that we can do better and we haven't done better here. So they fight, and then Wolverine goes and does more 2099 stuff because he meets Ghost Rider, and they continue on in this story, which again, I did not continue to read. It seems like Adam tells me it was a simulation and none of this is actually real, and okay.
Well, they do find Dr. Doom sleeping in the Smithsonian of all places, which I guess is as good a place to hide as any place else. And Dr. Doom, promises that he's gonna fix it and right the wrongs. And honestly, I don't remember how Timestorm ended because it wasn't very interesting. I'm sorry.
Well, it stops doing X-Men stuff immediately. We do have X-Men character Wolverine is around, but guys, listen, y'all. If we counted every story Wolverine shows up in as an X-Men story, we would stop doing this podcast.
Yeah, we'd be pretty busy.
We just wouldn't.
So
we just wouldn't do it.
I don't recommend this to anyone. I don't recommend the larger story of Timestorm, really, which is mainly a Spider-Man 2099 streak. But all of this is its own contained universe, and it really has no bearing on anything else because regular Spidey and regular Wolverine just go back. Nothing. There are no consequences to this. And
this has never been referenced again.
No, nor should it be. It's not important. It's not interesting. It doesn't tie into our beloved 2099 the way it should.
It doesn't. And you know what? Makes me sad.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rank it on a big old list, Zach.
Well, that's the thing, Adam. And that's the thing that you and I do on this podcast. We do, in fact, rank everything.
We sure do.
Big old list.
Yeah.
And that list, we rank it from best to worst. Of all the X-Men stories of all time, do you know how many stories we've got on that list, Adam?
774, Zach.
Brother, it sounds like we're on the road to 800.
We sure are.
The road to 800 and the road to 300, they're actually, it's like when roads come together for a short time before splitting off.
Yeah.
We're right here. We're on 300/800. It's ranked for best works. House of X Powers of 10's number 1. 100 is Ultimate X-Men World Tour. 200 is My Brother, My Enemy from Uncanny X-Men 97. Ultimate Comics X is at 300. That does have Art Adams art.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Ultimate Comics X earlier today.
It's kind of fun.
Blob's sibling rivalry with Junior Blob and Firestar, who's actually Liz Allen, the founder of Alchemex.
Not bad.
I looked it up. It's just shortening her former company name, Allen Chemical. Liz Allen Who, by the way, just found out she's a Carnage now.
Everybody is.
But it's the summer of symbiotes.
I can't get behind that. I don't know.
It was supposed to be the summer of symbiotes, Adam. Why
Sure.
won't you let it be the summer of symbiotes?
You know, whatever. The Venom people can have their Venom fun, I guess. It's not for me.
Number 400 on this list is Generation Hope Schism. Number 500 on this list is the first appearance of Gambit. Number 600 on this list is X-Men 20 to 21. Lucifer. Number 700 is X Factor, the Quick and the Dead. And then the worst X-Men story of all time is our beloved 2099 World of Tomorrow.
I don't think this is that bad, but it's certainly not and it's also not as bad as X Nation 2099.
Where is X Nation 2099?
That's just as low. It's like at 770. But it's also not as good as the next highest story, which is at 387. What is that one? That's the City arc, right? Sorry, City of the Dead, which is much better than this. I think we're probably in the 600s here.
I think you're right. This is worse than Days of Future Present at 608.
Oh, yeah. At 670, it's Wolverine the Vigil, which is the first 9. Or is this as bad as Wolverine the Vigil from Marvel Comic Books Volume 3, 1 to 9? It's certainly not as good as the first appearance of Peter Corbeau at 668.
I would put it then right below that and right above that all-new X-Men story we read. Because this is just like a bad one-off. Like, you know how many bad X-Men tie-in one-shots I've read?
That's true. This does have Fraser Irving art. Despite the bland color palette, it is still pretty nice. So this is going to be our new 669.
669. Look at that.
Very nice.
We're celebrating today. And do you know how we're celebrating, Adam?
Well, we're going to jump over to another 2099.
We are going to Earth 2099, the obvious and appropriate name for the 2099 universe. A already numerically designated universe. This is what some people have called the unified 2099 timeline, which it's not. It's just here's the latest one. But It is written by someone who does love 2099 as much as us, Adam.
That is one Steve Orlando.
It's Steve Orlando. It's Spider-Man 2099 Exodus Volume 1, Number 5. Kim Jacinto is doing the art on this. Kim, who you may know for doing really good variants for Marvel Snap.
Yeah. I
have a really, really cool, Daughters of the Dragon. Why am I Colleen Wing? I have a really cool Colleen Wing variant from him, among others.
I think Kim is outstanding, and I want to get into the art a little bit more on this book. But did you happen to read the rest of Spider-Man 2099 from Exodus Alpha Volume 1 all the way through Omega number 1 or whatever?
When it was coming out weekly and I got review copies, I did read them. How much did I retain, Adam? That's a great question. Thank you for asking. Spider-Man's trying to stop some cabal, and in doing so is introducing himself to all of the different 2099 new versions. Mm-hmm. And then he stops the cabal and they start a new paradise in 2099. And the next issue of that literally just came out because Steve Orlando has another 2099 series that just launched this week. I didn't read it.
Oh, okay. I'd be interested in checking that. I didn't realize this was still going, but this is a confounding...
It wasn't still going. It is now going again.
I would like to talk to somebody at Marvel about why, instead of just doing a 7-issue miniseries, they decided to do an Alpha, then a 5-issue miniseries, and then an Omega issue, instead of just doing 1 through 7.
I don't know how to tell you how well number 1s sell compared to number 2s.
But it's not a number 1 if it's the end of the story, Zach.
I agree. But didn't they call it Omega? People know.
They did. And it turns out that the Cabal...
there's a Ron Lim variant to this? Hold on.
Oh, that's
They got
great.
our boy Ron on this.
That's great.
Glad Ron's getting a paycheck.
Yeah. So the Cabal is being run by none other than Norman Osborn. And basically people get into the Cabal and can do whatever they want.
Hold on, I thought Norman Osborn got all of his souls eaten.
I don't know.
by the Soul Eater, or his sins eaten by the Sin Eater, excuse me. And now he's a good boy.
He's not good in this. So
he got his sins eaten by the Sin Eater. Once the Sin Eater eats your sins, how can you have sins again?
Comics, my friend. Come on. So essentially, a celestial has crashed into the wastelands outside of Nueva, New York. And there's a new Garden of Eden. And who wants to claim this as their new homeland but the mutants of this 2099? And we've got an interesting lineup here.
So I mentioned earlier how I don't like it when 2099 is always just like this version of it. And I think this walks a very fine line because it's a unified 2099 team pulling from all different kinds of continuity. So from our classics, we got Bloodhawk.
We do have Bloodhawk.
We got Cerebra, we got Crystalline, and we got Skullfire.
We got Skullfire. I believe we also have, who, even though he's not on the team, Spider-Man 2099 has also teamed up with X Nation and World of Tomorrow character who Nostromo, who is around.
He's terrible, and I hate him still. Doesn't make a case for him to still exist.
No, but there's some other really fun members of this team. Who are they?
So there is, of existing characters, there's Rogue is still alive, and she is in her legacy form from Mike Carey stuff, which I'm like, I don't love that necessarily. I don't like that it's just regular Rogue around, but it's better than regular Wolverine around because Rogue normally doesn't get to live that long.
It's very unclear because this Rogue is still just as young as she is in her current incarnation, and her power set is different. All she has to do is just vaguely recall a power set to then have said power set. It's pretty awesome variation on the character.
That's the Age of X Rogue.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
We also have Warda Wade Deadpool from the Jerry Duggan, and I believe, who did that? Scott Koblish, the Jerry Duggan and Scott Koblish Deadpool 2099 stuff from that run. I'm okay with that because that's just bringing in a different 2099 character who's not Wade Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
We have, very important, Teen Cable.
Yes.
But different Teen Cable. He's a slightly older Teen Cable.
Yes.
This is like a Scotty Sun era Cable.
Yes. Yeah. I love the Teen Cable in this.
And then, Adam, you know who we get? And he's off page. He's off page the whole time, but he is a member of the 2099 X-Men.
Are you referring to the lovely cameo that we get on page 2?
Yeah.
I'm going to let you say it because it's exciting.
It's Mermax. It's
That's
Mermax.
Right.
Here Comes Tomorrow. Man, listen, Steve Orlando, it doesn't necessarily or often lead to coherent comics, but I love how you love X-Men in the same way that I do.
This is Steve Orlando in a nutshell, and I can't help but love it. Kim Jacinto's character designs here are fantastic. I think we mention the character North Star that's here.
Oh, there's a new North Star, but he's a different guy,
totally different guy.
New Phoenix,
new Phoenix,
and a new character named Tokus.
New Cyclops.
New Cyclops.
I mean, it's a big roster if you really get down to it.
It's too big.
Yeah,
actually,
probably.
But
it works.
I'm fine with it.
It totally works. There's a whole bit.
I think you could cut Phoenix and Rogue and probably be good.
Yeah. However, you do get this great bit with the Cyclops character who constantly talks about why it would be terrible for him to put his eye back in. And of course, before the end of the issue, he does just that, and it's destructive miracles.
It petrifies people.
It's wonderful.
There's fun with this. So the X-Men fight the Cabal. They send their Sentinels. The X-Men fight Shakti, Cerebra. She gets hurt, and has to. They're like, what are they going to do? And Cable's like, don't worry, I'm a time traveler, and I know a place where we can do resurrection. So he goes back to Krakoa, and then Cerebra becomes a I want to say cast member of the Steve Orlando's Marauders, but really a plot thread that didn't get enough time to develop.
Yeah, because I think that just wrapped, right?
It just wrapped. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a fun poll. There are other things that he's seeding here, including Teen Cable finding the genetic material of Nate Gray amongst a series of canisters left behind by Dr. Doom, which is...
I personally love that. I could see the argument that maybe the page space would have been better used otherwise, but I love it.
It's a little bit of a bridge too far. But as I mentioned, Cyclops is able to take down the remaining sentinels that attack them with his eye, and it's a very like manga type thing where he's been wearing this blindfold the entire time, and he gets to take it off and really cut loose.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
That part's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Green Goblin shows up, and then all of the 2099 characters that Spider-Man has met through his journey, they all come and they all fight, and it's a great time.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Omega issue is not illustrated by Kim Jacinto, so it loses a tremendous amount of the energy. Now, it is done.
Well, this came out. Do you remember this series came out weekly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. And
yeah.
Part of the issue is that the art is inconsistent. Like, I think Jacinto's like an incredibly good pull for doing a 2099 Future book.
Oh my God, yes. That the sheer energy of what he's doing here is so great. There's a one-page splash of Nostromo and Spider-Man 2099 diving into the page with Skullfire looking up in his green flames, and there's just so much energy and life to what it is that he's doing. I think we talked before we recorded that you're on the fence about Kim's work.
I think that Kim's work here really shines with design, and some layouts are great. I think there are challenges for me with the overall finish of the art, especially comparing it to the work that I see him doing in Marvel Snap Cards of, very similar superhero things. And hey, I think guys, I think the issue is that video games probably pay better for less work.
I mean, God, I sure hope that whoever is doing artwork is getting paid appropriately where they can get it paid appropriately. I don't have any of those issues. I think that this recalls, a really fun, almost cliffhanger book. Folks remember that era of Joe Mad and steampunk. But what we have to highlight also is that unlike the last issue we just talked about, this issue has the vibrant color palette.
It does.
J. David Ramos is just killing it on the colors here.
It hits. Like, here's the thing. Orlando does fully understand what makes 2099 as a genre work.
Mm-hmm.
It immediately starts with being cyberpunk, but not just cyberpunk in aesthetics, cyberpunk in the overall anti-capitalist tone of it, which was in your face present in the initial 2099. Like, he gets it. And I would really like to see this team and these characters get a chance I'd take it under his pen to see how it develops and what this world could be with that. Unfortunately, this is a series that has to serve so many masters and set up all of these different 2099 versions instead of just the one. Heck, I think, it's called Spider-Man 2099 because he's easily the most popular 2099 character and is going to be in a major motion picture. But I almost feel like they get away with it because Miguel just gets to be a cipher for all of this. He's like, yeah, I'm the Spider-Man. You already know I'm a Spider-Man. You know my deal.
Right.
Here's everyone else.
Yeah.
I would love it if there was more time to be able to dig into it, especially because this is such a large team. So there's just not as much. Like, everyone gets a moment or a line. You get to know them, and that's it.
Yeah. That's pretty, like Skullfire does get to change from I love the design of Skullfire here. Does get to turn into his green fiery skeleton version and yell, "Try ashes!" Like, I mean, there's really fun stuff here. And I agree with you. I would love to see the ongoing adventures of this if it could keep the energy and the style, of this one shot, but also
we say this as we did say earlier in this episode that Steve Orlando is continuing Spider-Man 2099, but because we're broken X-Men fans, we're like, yeah, but that's Spider-Man. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
They are giving us what we are asking for, just not exactly what we're asking for.
Yeah. But I do think that the test case, right, for whether it could be successful or not really does depend on the art style, right? And
you have to have a killer artist on this. And one of my issues with Marvel at the moment is that I feel like killer artists are few and far between, and there is such a sameness to their house style right now. It's third generation Stuart Immonen impersonators because the second generation guys are now too expensive for them.
Right. Yeah. Mark Miller stole them. So,
listen, again,
get that money. Get that money.
Number one rule of Battle of the Atom, get that money.
Yes. But you can definitely see, even though we're not ranking the Omega issue, if folks want to compare the two, you'll see an immediate style difference in terms of the colors, in terms of the character designs, and you can see how flat this concept can actually go very, very quickly. So if it could maintain the manic energy, I would be totally on board. So I enjoyed this quite a bit. Let's rank it.
Yeah, it definitely... Geez, sorry. I'm just looking at Kim Jahanto's art. He has a Darkhawk variant for Marvel Snap. I'm going to send it to you in the chat. I'm not even a Darkhawk guy, but dang, buddy. Dang.
I'm pretty sure that Kim Jacinto could draw just about any Marvel character and make it look pretty neat.
Oh, there's this Nightcrawler drawing he did.
I've seen that one.
Hey, actually, all of his concept stuff is great. They should give him all of the time in the world to do what he wants, because these rule.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I'm sorry. I'm getting us distracted. We do need to rank this.
This is not a visual podcast, so people can't see the cool art that you're looking at.
Guys, go Google Kim Jacinto art. That's Jacinto.
Mm-hmm.
And then just scroll down and be like, yeah,
enjoy.
This guy rules.
Yeah. So at 387, like I said before, we do have X-Men 2099, 26 to 29, City of the Dead. Better or worse than that, Zach?
What rank is that at?
That's at 387.
I was looking at art and I got distracted.
It was a good thing to get
387, City of the Dead.
Yeah.
Same level.
Yeah, okay. We do have
We're at the same point. This isn't better than Dark Reign, The List, Wolverine #1.
Ah, okay. All right. It is probably, well, I don't think it's better than the Age of X Aftermath from X-Men Legacy 248 to 249, but I think
it's better than Phalanx Covenant Final Sanction.
Yeah, okay.
It's got the same, the visuals kill in this.
Better than X-Men Gold from 2013? Or
the one shot, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's better than that. It's between City of the Dead and Bloody Bess and the Shadow King from Nightcrawler. Another book that I think Todd Knox's art is really the selling point, especially in some of those last issues.
Yeah. I'm going to give the edge to Claremont and Knock. What do you think?
Yeah, let's put it above City of the Dead.
Yeah.
And below that one.
Nightcrawler 8 to 12. So that's going to be our new 387. Strong 387. Showing there in good company.
I'm sorry, my dog had to be let out.
That's okay.
And you know what? We talk about art, Adam.
We sure did. We're going to really talk about it now.
Oh, because buddy, we got the preeminent artists of art, fancy Marvel art. The fanciest of Marvel art.
You must mean Joe Jusko.
Yeah, we got some Joe Jusko. No, we don't have Joe Jusko.
No, we don't have Joe Jusko.
We don't have Joe Jusko.
That
We
was-
don't have Alex Ross.
No. So
This is the preeminent fancy Marvel art of a very specific moment in time. Because I would say in the 90s, Alex Ross was more heavily associated with his Detective Comics work. Even giving him Marvels, I feel like Kingdom Come's probably a bit more well known. Anyway, we got the Hildebrands on this one. We got Greg and Tim.
Hildebrands, the Marvel masterpieces of them. The 90s are here, and they are illustrating what story, Zach?
X-Men 2099, Oasis.
Oasis. Yeah. You an Oasis fan, Zach?
Listen.
Did you say maybe you're going to be the one that saves me?
I mean, definitely maybe. But, I think about my time when I did listen to Oasis, and I don't look back in anger necessarily.
Gotcha. It wasn't a champagne supernova for you, is what you're saying.
Not in the sky, no. I'm running out of Oasis songs that I know.
That's okay. They're all off that same album anyway. But
yeah, that's the one I've listened to.
But this is X-Men 29 Oasis, and it is a one-shot perfect bound trade paperback that is completely illustrated by the Hildebrandt brothers.
Yeah. Hey, Adam, can I tell you what I always think about when I think about the Hildebrandt brothers? Just one more second before we jump into our good friends at the 2099.
I want your answer to be X-Men swimsuit specials, but I'm not sure what you're going to say.
It is a commissioned work that they were commissioned to do.
Okay.
And if someone's commissioning the Hildebrands, they got some money.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
We're talking about like Renaissance level commissions. It is a commission of, and I cannot emphasize this enough. It was commissioned for a guy who owned a bunch of McDonald's franchises.
Oh, right.
So it's a McDonald's play place, and it has him and his family drawn as Professor X, Rogue, Rachel Gray Phoenix, and also Maddie Pryor as the Goblin Queen.
It's pretty wild.
Again, folks, Google Hildebrandt McDonald's. You'll find it.
Oh my God.
It's insane. And I don't know how to find it or buy it, but I want it so bad.
Well,
wasn't it a
mural?
Weird family photo? I only have one piece of it. If there's more to this, folks, I tell you, don't ever try and find me online. If you can tell me in detail more about this Hildebrandt McDonald's painting, please find me online, actually.
Oh boy. All right.
They paint other things in the comic we're about to talk about, though.
Yeah. So what's fun here is that this is John Francis Moore. So we've got our
JFM.
Original scribe back. And this is an adventure about another utopian mutant society.
Yeah, so what we get is that Cerebra, back when she was running away from her family, ran into a guy named Ryu Cobalt.
Ryu Cobalt. He's like a Street Fighter character.
You're just saying that because his name is Ryu.
He does have like a lightning sword.
Quarter circle turn punch.
Yeah.
Guy.
He's kind of dressed like Strife a little.
He is. He has a stupid outfit.
Yeah.
But they fall in love for a hot second, and then she can't go with him. But then, luck would have it, they cross paths a decade later while she's with the X-Men. This is AD. This is after Doom, just for everyone who's wondering.
Yep.
This is when they were the protectorate of the city. And they're going out to help find this one mutant. We got Bloodhawk, we got Cerebra, we got Skullfire, and we got La Lunatica.
Yeah.
They find the secret society that Ryu has been building.
Yeah, and it kind of Zach, when you look at the design of Oasis,
that's a penis.
That sure looks like phallic, huh?
That's okay, guys. I know this is a family podcast and we try not to say swears. So if you're with the kids, give us like 30 seconds here. We all good. That looks like one of those vibrators that has like the little extra dangly piece. I don't know what it's called. I don't understand women's anatomy very well.
Poor Zach.
Poor my wife, I tell you what. But I'm sorry to be crude, but that is what
exactly what that looks like, right?
That's what this looks like. Just there's no two ways around it. That's what they drew.
Oh,
like this is not a Little Mermaid situation where someone's like, "Yeah, it's a tower, guys." No, that's
anyway.
Artists know what a penis looks like. They draw a lot of them in art school.
We do. Just all day.
That's what anatomy class is, right? You're like, you have to draw the person. Also, make sure you get the wang. Excuse me. Did I use a? That's not the word we use for penis at all.
No, that's Doctor Strange's sidekick.
Yeah, I was going for schlong and wang at the same time, and that's a wang right there.
Good God, I'm gonna have to put a disclaimer on this episode now.
Guys, we do about a minute of dick jokes in the middle of this one. I'm really sorry. Normally we don't do that.
So, all right, listen. Once they get inside,
some of these are just for us, everybody. Some of these are
once they get inside the ding dong, there is like this kind of biosphere thing going on, and this Ryu guy is there, and he's kind of Darth Vadered out because he has a degenerative disease, and I guess his ultimate plan is to kind of put everybody into cryo sleep until he can like get cured. That's kind of his general thing, right?
Kind of, but he's also going to murder a bunch of people.
Oh, right. He's going to kill everybody else in the world, right?
Yeah, and he's going to save his people in cryo sleep. It's a bad plan. The X-Men are not thrilled with this, and they do try and stop him. Bloodhawk got convinced because Bloodhawk's an idiot to join them because they said, we're going to save the world. And he's like, I do love the environment.
And along the way, Cerebra does get put into cryo sleep. It needs to be broken out.
Adam, I have to pause here. I did just get some very important text messages.
Ooh, what happened?
From my wife, who did just send me two lines that say, it's called a rabbit vibrator. It's for the G-spot. This is great information for me personally.
Okay.
Back to our good friend Bloodhawk.
Yeah, so Bloodhawk, we haven't mentioned his friend, the like wizard guy, the man with
there's
the white...
just a wizard in here. I don't know
like
why there's a wizard.
Yeah, but the wizard eventually...
That's not Lockjaw without a C.
No, it's some other guy, but he eventually blows up the Oasis with Ryu inside of it, and the Dongo boom, and X-Men 299, they go back to their normal business.
Yep. I mean, it's a nice little, here's a self-contained one-shot story of the X-Men 2099, but it does have great art.
It really does. It really does. The Hildebrands do have some interesting quirks along the way, but I do really enjoy having standalone stories like this from this era. And frankly, after all the garbage 2099 stuff that we read in our last episode, and frankly, the Timestorm stuff from earlier this episode, it was very, very nice to be reunited with our friends and to go on this little adventure together.
It was like, yes, this reminded us why we love these guys.
Yes.
I forgot to mention in Timestorm that Bloodhawk also has Sean's powers with the healing and the killing. It's stupid and I hate it.
Yeah.
That does. In fact, we should have ranked Timestorm lower. Oh no. But Oasis. I like some Oasis.
This is a fun time, and it is definitely one that I don't own, and I want to hunt down a copy of because it just seems...
Look in any long box. This is a Marvel comic that was published in 1996, and it has an X on it. They made 1 billion of these.
I'm sure. So I enjoyed this quite a bit. I think it was probably... I don't know if it's better or worse than the Steve Orlando bit we just did, though.
It's better than the Steve Orlando one.
Okay.
I'm willing to say it.
It's definitely like a beginning, middle, end.
Better,
right?
Yeah, it tells a better story.
Yeah.
Of my friends, the X-Men of 2099.
How good is it though? Because I feel like we're probably still in the 300s.
Oh, all X-Men 2099 is in the 300s.
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Yeah.
The top X-Men 2099 story we have is the Halloween Jack one, and it doesn't go that high. That's at 356.
No. Halloween Jack is definitely better than this.
I kind of think this is better than the Doom stuff, though.
Okay, that's at 371.
Yeah, I think we're kind of right there.
I personally like God's Country better than this at 369, but I could be.
Let's just put it. This is better than the Trial of Gambit, though.
Yeah, it is. All right, so this
Let's
is going
make this 370.
370. Okay, great. So we visited 3 different 2099s here. Don't ask me to name their Earth names.
Doesn't matter. We've established that.
Yeah, I mean, who cares?
Well, do you know who cares, Adam? Do you know who I think cares?
I think our lovely. Well, wait. I thought a patron didn't request this.
That doesn't mean that I can't thank them for their service.
Thank you, patrons.
I think our patrons are great. And I think that all of our patrons are so good. And in fact, I think they're so good that for our next episode, we have a special holofoil edition.
That's right.
That we're going to give you guys. And I can't emphasize this enough. It is literally just a different JPEG that's in holofoil.
It is super shiny.
I need you to know this.
Super
it's
shiny.
So shiny, though.
Yeah.
So if you want this glossy JPEG, go on over to patreon.com/comicsxf, reach deep down into your hearts and pocketbooks, and toss a couple of coins into our coffers.
Very excited about this. So
we'll do an episode about something you want. Mm-hmm. It's not just all about us, even though I'm going to let you guys on a little secret. 6 years and 300 episodes into this podcast, me and Adam did finally make a tab in the Excel spreadsheet that says, what are things we want to do?
And we're putting some wacky stuff on it.
Y'all, if you didn't request it at this point, it means that we're the only people in the world that care about it.
It's time. It is time. It's been 6 years.
It's time for us to talk about the lesser X-Men tie-in fast food comics. It's time for us to dig up old copies of TV Guide. It's time for us to talk about Malibu Universe.
Let's go.
Y'all, it's time.
We'll get crazy.
But we're not selfish.
No.
We aren't.
Mm-mm.
We, this fine gentleman of Battle the Atom,
Hello.
will still take your money and your requests over on that Patreon at the $5 a month level. Jump on in there, toss us a buck or 5 of them, cinco for our people of the Spanish persuasion, and we can get an episode.
That's right, bespoke,
but not next week
for you, but not next week because next week is our huge 300 mile marker. I cannot believe we're hitting 300 episodes next week. That is insane.
Do you know how many X-Men podcasts have hit 300 episodes?
One?
I don't know. Probably more than that. At one point I did have a long list of all the different X-Men podcasts. There's been some that have been going on for like a while before Jay and Miles.
Yeah.
And listen, Jay
bless.
They're still bless them. They're still going strong.
That's great.
I talk about being the bad boy of X-Men podcasting, but I do have a lot of respect for a handful of X-Men podcasters. Mm-hmm. And the ones who I don't have respect for, I will never tell you which ones you are.
Because we're not trash talkers here, except for
we
just trash talk our friends.
And our friends.
That's right.
And random strangers on the internet sometimes.
Yeah. So,
and several comic book creators.
So what are we doing next week? We do have some surprises, perhaps, but we do have one thing we know we're doing.
Adam, this is legitimately me asking. Are you talking about the re-ranking?
Yes, the re-ranking.
Okay. It is time for the re-ranking.
The re-ranking.
It's Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
I'm writing that down right now. That's funny to me. It's
Comedy
Ragnarok.
gold.
Guys, because it sounds like Ragnarok.
But we've been talking about this for a long time, but we are going to revisit.
We've been threatening it.
Yes, 3 stories that we really do believe need to be reconsidered on the list and their current placement. So if you've been tuning
talked
in
about some of these.
Yeah, you may already have an idea of which stories we're talking about, longtime listeners.
We made sure that this is rewarding for the longtime listeners because these are all stories that we talked about in our first year of the podcast.
Wow.
Back in the year of our Lord 2017.
Yeah. Wow. So you might want to go back and revisit some of that, if you like low audio quality and
Hey. By episode 20, I figured it out.
We said it's not terrible. We got the groove.
It's not terrible. Adam always sounded good. I sounded like trash.
No. Come on. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? Don't do that.
Somewhere around there. I got the mic for Christmas.
Yes.
That's how I know.
So the re-ranking is happening. We also are going to pay attention to the socials. We will be putting out a call for Q&A. So pay attention to Arthur Stacy on Twitter and at adam.rec on Instagram, the Comics XF Twitter account. And we'll definitely do some Q&A as well. And who knows, there might be some other surprises, but we won't know until we actually record the episode.
There'll be surprises to us as well. We're not hinting at anything. We truly are behind the 8 ball on this one.
That's okay. We're going to have fun regardless of what happened.
I'm going to have fun because I always have fun talking to my pal Adam.
Yes. So until then.
Oh, this has been Valley Adam. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!